In Brussels, the heart of NATO, tensions are reaching a boiling point, not because of missiles or bombs, but because of trust. On September 19, 2025, three Russian MiG 31 fighter jets deliberately violated Estonia's airspace, sparking panic in Tallinn and fury in the Baltic skies. Estonia immediately invoked NATO's Article 4, demanding urgent consultations. But instead of reassurance, the response from NATO's leadership shocked the small Baltic state. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte clashed openly with Estonian Prime Minister Kristen Michel in what insiders describe as a heated, almost explosive confrontation. The incident leaves us with one haunting question. If NATO hesitates, even on Article 4, how can it ever guarantee Article 5, the very promise of collective defense? The September 19th violation wasn't just a blip on radar screens. It was the fourth intrusion into Estonia's airspace in 2025. The three Russian MiG 31 jets, capable of carrying hypersonic missiles, penetrated Estonian skies for 12 long minutes before being intercepted by NATO fighters scrambled from bases in Lithuania and Finland. Moscow dismissed the accusation, claiming the aircraft flew over international waters, but Estonia saw it very differently, a deliberate act of intimidation, another piece in Russia's hybrid warfare playbook. For Estonia, this wasn't just a flight path error, it was a warning shot. So Tallinn pulled the emergency lever, invoking Article 4 of NATO's founding treaty. Article 4 allows members to call consultations when they feel their security or sovereignty is threatened. But instead of solidarity, Estonia got scolded. On September 23rd, inside NATO's North Atlantic Council meeting, sparks flew. Sources claim Mark Rutte raised his voice as Estonia's Prime Minister, accusing him of overusing Article 4. Rutte warned that constant invocations, whether for drones, cyber attacks, or flyovers, could dilute its seriousness. Rutte's fear was clear that NATO would look like the boy who cried wolf, but Estonia pushed back hard. Prime Minister Michel reminded the Council that Estonia, a nation of just 1.3 million people, lives daily with existential threats. His fiery response: "We join NATO to deter aggression, not to debate the semantics of provocation." For Estonia, NATO's hesitation felt like betrayal. A loyal member punching far above its weight, now threatened as if its security concerns were second tier. Here's why this matters. Article 4 is about consultation, meeting whenever a member feels threatened. It has been used more than 10 times since NATO's creation, from Turkey's Syria concerns in 2012 to Estonia's cyber fears in 2022. On the other hand, there's Article 5. This is the Holy Grail. An armed attack on one is an attack on all, invoked only once after 9/11. Estonia's point is simple. If NATO shrugs off Article 4, how credible is its Article 5 commitment? Because in today's world, aggression doesn't always come as tanks rolling across the border. It comes as drones, cyber attacks, accidental flyovers. If NATO ignores the feints, will it be ready for the punch? What makes this dispute even sharper is Estonia's loyalty. Since joining NATO in 2004, Estonia has transformed into one of the alliance's model members. In 2025, it spends 3.38% of GDP on defense, far above the 2% guideline. By 2026, it plans to surge to 5%, injecting billions into cyber defenses, artillery, and new fighter jets. Estonia also contributes troops to NATO, hosts alliance battle groups, and leads in digital innovation. It is, in every sense, a NATO success story. And yet, when Russian jets violate its skies, its cry for help is met with lectures. As one Estonian official put it, "We pay more than most, we fight for NATO values, but when we ask for protection, we are treated as the canary in the coal mine." Public opinion reflects the disillusionment. Polls now show 70% of Estonians doubt NATO would truly defend them, up sharply from 45% before Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine. The fallout of this Rutte-Michel clash goes beyond Estonia. Russia is watching closely. Every sign of NATO hesitation emboldens Moscow. Already we have seen drone incursions over Poland, Romania, and the Baltics. The Kremlin thrives on testing NATO's patience. Death by 1,000 cuts. For NATO, mixed signals are dangerous. If Article 4 is dismissed as alarmism, then Article 5 itself could start to look like a paper promise. But once that credibility cracks, the very foundation of the deterrence of NATO crumbles. Meanwhile, Estonia isn't waiting around. Prime Minister Michel announced plans to expand conscription, speed up the purchase of additional F 35 jets, and double down on cyber defenses. In other words, Tallinn is preparing to defend itself, even if NATO falters. This is more than a Baltic drama, it's a test of NATO's soul. Mark Rutte may argue for restraint, warning against constant Article 4 meetings, but Estonia, Poland, and others on the front line see things very differently. To them, every violation, no matter how small, is part of a larger Russian strategy to probe, intimidate, and weaken the lands. And the perception of weakness is itself dangerous. If NATO cannot convincingly protect one of its most loyal members, then how can it expect to deter a far larger challenge? For Estonia, the message is bitter. Self reliance is not optional. For NATO, the warning is stark. A house divided cannot stand. The Russian jets have long since turned back, but the storm they left behind still rages in Brussels. Is NATO a shield for its members, or only for some? For Estonia, the answer could be the difference between survival and abandonment. And for NATO, the stakes are even higher: its credibility, its unity, and perhaps even its future. Because if the alliance won't fully back Estonia today, then tomorrow, when Article 5 is truly tested, will NATO even show up?